So my first question for you is, how has it been a challenge to leave your mark on such a large scale object, the ocean?
Well, you know, the funny thing is, the oceans are so vast. Fish don't have passports. So how is it that you can relate something that's so nebulous to the average person in a way that's tangible, that's meaningful, and most importantly, that's impactful, that in a sense makes them care, and hopefully makes them better stewards? Because the oceans are a life support system. Quite literally, it's the circulatory system of life, whether we live next to the oceans or 1,000 miles away. When we're skiing on top of a mountain, we're skiing on the oceans. So how does one relate that? I don't know. I mean, and how did I make or how am I making a mark that way? I just hope that by telling my stories of adventure, of which I hope there'll be many more of, by telling the general public, hopefully bringing them on those adventures, virtually speaking, and being able to have them understand why that place is so special, so important, and in such peril, and leaving them with a sense of what they can do about it. I hope I leave a mark.
Now, if you could have no constrictions, financially, globally, nothing stopping you.
You know someone that will do that for me?
No, it's hypothetical. But if you did, how would you go about leaving the mark that you want to leave? Do you know what you would do? Or what
no
mark you would
financial
want
restrictions,
to leave?
hey?
No, none. I know this is very unrealistic, but...
Well, in that case, I have a great program for you. No financial restrictions. I would create a program that would force every single human being on this planet to have one great adventure in their lives.
Just one?
At least one.
At least one.
Where they can go halfway around the world in the most uncomfortable place they can be. Meaning they don't know, completely out of their element, they don't know the language, they don't know the culture, they don't know the environment, and you just drop them in there and say, here you go. Experience it. You have a month. And just that fact alone, that human being will become a better human being, a more rounded person, a much more globally aware person with a better perspective of the challenges we have socioeconomically, challenges we have environmentally speaking, and with the basic tools to be able to address those things in their own lives and hopefully make better decisions.
It's a really good plan. I volunteered.
Well, on a small scale, I can certainly offer a few of those elements on a short-term basis to some volunteers that can go and help us in our nonprofit called Plant a Fish.
Plant a fish?
We plant trees all over the world. Why does the restoration stop at the water line, right?
So what does Plant a Fish entail? What do you guys do with that?
We take local communities and we have an educational program that empowers them and engages them into doing aquatic restoration. So in an ocean setting, for example, we can have that community plant mangroves or oysters or sea turtles, you know, corals, so on and so forth. I mean, the possibilities are endless depending on the needs of that community. We have programs in, say, New York City with students going and planting oysters, quite literally, in the Hudson River.
Can I survive there?
Which is, yeah, believe it or not. That's a story for another day, but absolutely. And the same thing in El Salvador, working with local communities there to release baby sea turtles. Just last year, our little tiny program, this is a grassroots organization, I mean, it's a tiny program, but even though we're so small, the 800 plus community members that are part of that effort down there released over 235,000 baby sea turtles.
Wow. Where did they
in
get
one
the baby
year.
sea turtles?
Where do they get them? Well, they don't go out and fish them from the sea.
Did they breed them in like an
No.
aquarium,
So with El Salvador, it's a very interesting thing, and it happens all over the world. you have sea turtles that come up and nest on the beachfront.
Lay their eggs.
And they lay their eggs. Well, El Salvador, being one of those countries that the fishermen go and collect the eggs and sell them on the black market for consumption, is the big problem. So instead of vilifying them, throwing them in jail or what have you, why not have them use their services or use their expertise in doing that and collect those eggs, those nests, in a scientifically valid way, bring them to the pens that they've built, guard those nests from domestic predators and poachers and so on and so forth, and then have them release those baby sea turtles with their families, with their children, with the local school kids, and so on and so forth. And in very short order, we were able to see a whole changing of the mental framework of those communities. Because although they do need to provide for their families,
they can do it in a positive
they
way.
can do it in a way that's much more impactful, positive, and in a way that they understand, because they saw adult sea turtles and they saw eggs. They never saw the hatchlings. There was never any recruitment. They never saw the baby sea turtles going back to the ocean. So they never made that simple connection that it's all related. And so now they're seeing more and more sea turtles coming back to nest some years later.
One last question for you, and it would be, how do you plan on making your mark in the next 5 to 10 years? You have programs like this?
You know something I don't?
I don't know. I'm just a short span. I don't know what your plans are for 20 years, but just in the short run, in the next couple of years, do you have anything that you've started to plan or that you've been conjuring up other than plopping people in the rainforest?
Of course. Of course. Well, first of all, I don't ever plan to retire.
Never.
So, never.
It
doesn't sound like fun to me. Because I'm having fun doing what I do.
That's great.
So, that's the magic, though. Don't ever forget this. I mean, I don't know if you plan on staying in school forever, if you plan on going...
I'm going into student affairs, so I do plan on staying out of school forever.
Perfect. And any student I talk to, I say, stay in school as long as you can. Well, first of all, hindsight's 20/20, but it's always a really neat experience to be able to learn. I have the privilege of being able to learn in the field all the time. So every dive's a new learning experience.
That's true.
But aside from not ever retiring, in the next 5 to 10 years, I have several documentaries that I'd like to do. If you have those connections with that, don't ever worry about money thing. I'd love to hear that. But there's obviously some of the considerations we have to deal with. And beyond this, there's an aspect of an organization such as Plant a Fish that also is always enticing for me to be able to expand it bigger and bigger and bigger in a very grassroots sort of way. Kind of be recruiting an army, if you will, of like-minded people who can change the world.
That sounds like a good plan.
That's my next 5 years, anyway.
That's your next 5. Okay, not 10, not 20.
Oh, who
Never
knows
retiring.
in 10. Maybe we'll be able to sip pina coladas on a beach thinking, we've accomplished our goals.
That would be great.
It's a much better planet. We're giving back to our kids what we've taken for granted. That's pretty cool.
What's your favorite adventure you've ever been on?
The next one.
Next one. Good answer. Very clever. Well, thank you so much for talking with me.
Pleasure is mine. Anytime.